Have you ever wondered what happens to melted snow and rain that doesn't evaporate or sink into the ground? Well, we've discovered that just like a funnel, everything that goes into a watershed is mixed and comes out of one point. So all of the snow in my backyard will eventually melt and wash into the ocean many, many miles away. Our school is from Touchstone Community School in Grafton, Massachusetts, and we've been taking part in a series of challenges called the Blackstone Watershed Relay. The relay was created to help kids learn about watersheds and to inform other people about how all water is connected. Each school began at the top of their own watershed pathway. Our school is right here, near Misco Brook, which is in red on this map. For the first challenge, the green team looked at wetland habitats near Misco Brook. They found that beavers change the environment a lot to suit their needs. But some other species have trouble defending themselves against human changes and may need help to survive. The blue team discovered how pollution in people's yards and neighborhoods can affect brooks and rivers.
Misco Brook joins Warren Brook here to form the West River, shown in yellow on the map. The West River continues through Upton and then into Uxbridge, where it joins the Blackstone River. When the green team looked at aquatic plants in the West River for their second challenge, they observed the many ways that land plants have adapted to live in or near water. In some places, native plants such as water lilies are being pushed out by invasive species like water chestnuts.
The West River runs into the Blackstone River here, where the yellow meets the blue. But really, the Blackstone River starts up here in Worcester, Massachusetts. It then flows down here to Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Although they are not shown on this map, there are many other rivers and streams that run into the Blackstone on its way down to Pawtucket. The blue team looked at the history of transportation in the Blackstone Valley. They learned that humans use the power of water to make their lives easier. People built canals, like the Blackstone Canal, which ran next to the river for many miles. But when the river was in their way, people changed their surroundings by building bridges across the water. By the time the Blackstone River reaches Pawtucket, it has gathered up the water of many tributary rivers, and their problems too. We decided to follow the river's water the rest of the way to the sea. When the Blackstone goes over the waterfall in Pawtucket, its name changes to the Seekonk River. Below the waterfall, the Seekonk River is brackish, which means the fresh water from the Blackstone mixes with the salt water from the bay. Then, the Seekonk River flows into the Providence River, and the Providence River flows into Narragansett Bay. Then, Narragansett Bay empties out into the Atlantic Ocean. When we went to these places, we started with a city river, and we wound up on a sandbar in Narragansett Bay. We thought about all the miles the water had traveled to reach the sea, and we thought about how the water carries whatever it picks up along the way. All along our voyage, from Misco Brook down to the bay, we've met with people who are working to protect our watershed and clean up the Blackstone River. Some of these people work for the state government, some work for the federal government, some work for other organizations, and some are just people volunteering their time. We want you to meet one of these people.
Hi, we're here with Tammy Gilpatrick from the Blackstone River Coalition.
Thank you for joining us. So Tammy, what is the Blackstone River Coalition?
The Blackstone River Coalition is a group that came together to join all the various organizations who are working throughout the Blackstone River watershed and bring them all together so they could speak with one voice. These groups had been working for some time on various issues to do with improving the watershed, but the coalition just kind of gave that a more formal voice.
that the coalition isn't just a way to connect all of these organizations. It has some goals of its own. What are you working on right now?
Absolutely. One of the major goal is to make the river fishable and swimmable by 2015, and that would mean huge improvements would be needed for water quality. And that's what I do. I'm the coordinator for the Volunteer Water Quality Monitoring Program, and I work to coordinate people and all the sites that get monitored together. And we look for areas that need improvement or see if they're doing okay.
Who does this water quality testing?
It's actually done by volunteers. We have a huge number of volunteers, over 74 volunteers that work throughout the watershed, and the data comes back and that gives us a general idea of what the water quality is looking at like. We can graph that and present it to citizens. And what these volunteers are providing is a huge resource because you can actually value their hours at $17 an hour and figure out how much time they're donating. Wow. We have some high school monitors, and we also have a lot of families that are taking part in the program.
What are you doing to educate people on what the coalition is working on?
We host a variety of workshops throughout the watershed, but you might remember in 2005, October 2005, there were the huge floods, and many parts of the Blackstone flooded. So there was a lot of interest, a lot of media attention, and we thought, well, how can we use that to help educate people? So we ran a series of workshops to educate people about stormwater.
Sounds like you have a lot of different projects you're working on. How do you get the funding for all of them?
Well, we don't have funding for everything, so we have to work really hard to prioritize and decide what's most immediate need and what could wait. But there's a lot of ways that people can help, not just with funding, also through volunteering. But a big way you can help is voting in local and state elections and voting for people who have good environmental records.
I live near the river, but I never realized how much we needed to help our watershed until I started doing the Blackstone Watershed Relay.
Well, I was similar. I grew up in Mendon, Massachusetts, right near the Blackstone, close to the Blackstone, and I never really knew about it. I actually, when I graduated from college, I was a hotel restaurant major, and I worked for 8 years managing hotels, and I really knew I needed to do something a little more rewarding. So I went in the Peace Corps, and I went to Slovakia in Eastern Europe, and while I was there I got to work on some environmental trails, and through that I realized it was really environmental work that I wanted to do, and I came back and started working on the Blackstone.
Well, Tammy, thank you so much for teaching us about what it's like to be an environmental activist at the Blackstone River Coalition.
Yeah, I'm sure your work at the coalition will allow future generations to be able to fish and swim in the Blackstone River.
We're proud to have Eric C. Hall, the director of the Blackstone Watershed Relay, here with us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here with you today. In our office at the Watershed Protection Association, we have a poster that reminds us of what we're all working for. It's a quote from Bernie McGurl, an environmental activist from Pennsylvania. It says, "Water has a voice. It carries a message that tells those downstream who we are and how we care for the land." And from what you've sent us, we can tell that the Blackstone Watershed Relay has helped you understand this. You've worked hard, researching, reading maps, going on field trips, talking with experts, making posters, labeling storm drains, and you've learned a lot in completing these challenges. And we know that you understand in a new way that all things are connected. But now what's the next step? You have all this new knowledge. What do you want to do with it? I can tell you have a lot of great ideas, but maybe we can get the mic to you so you can go one at a time.
Hannah, you can go first.
I'm going to put a brick in the back of my toilet to save water.
Good idea. And that's something you can do today.
Robert, you can go next.
Well, I want to be a water quality monitor, like the ones who work with Tammy Gilpatrick. So then I can monitor the quality of the water at the brook across the street from my house.
And since it's so close to home, you can do that and keep up with your schoolwork.
Josh, you have an idea?
Well, I'm really glad that the Hennessy property has been protected and protected from being developed on. I think I'd like to volunteer with an organization like that protects land near rivers.
You know, there's a lot of organizations springing up in towns all across the Blackstone watershed.
Morgan, you're next.
I want to be a biologist and maybe even work for the Environmental Protection Agency.
Cool. Well, your work on the relay has given you a great start.
Caitlin, this will have to be our last comment.
I want to be a filmmaker and teach people about the environment by making environmental films.
Well, thank you all for your work on the Blackstone Watershed Relay. It gives me new hope that students like you will be taking care of the rivers and the land.
Well, we're really glad we could be involved. We hope that some of our ideas have inspired you to do something in your community. We've learned about plants and animals that are endangered because of changes that humans have made to the environment, like fish that can't breathe in water clogged with sediment, or native plants that just get crowded by too many invasives. It's true that humans have hurt the environment, but we can be clever in a careful way. We can invent new ways to use up less land or create less pollution. We need to pay careful attention to the results of our activities. We need to be creative. So, I have a challenge for you. What will you do to help you protect your environment and your watershed? Every one of us can make a difference, and all of nature will benefit because all of nature is connected.
I want to be more on Alexandra.
No, you want to focus on Alexandra because she's deeper. She's further back.
Just because I'm focusing on you.
Hey, Marissa.
Hey, Russell.
Hi. Is there
Okay, is everybody ready?
Sarah, yeah, you might have to get closer to the microphones for that.
Sarah, nice.
I think it's well adjusted. And you, ma'am.
There you go.
You'll be getting the trees.
All right, I'm good.
You might get an occasional kind of wet.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm marking where I'm going to be taping.
I want to see.
All right.
That's the
See,
thing. Now remember, you
I'm
might
getting
connect it to Sarah.
what this says is Angelina, but it's really Sarah
You are
and
changing.
Alexandra.
Yeah.
So now this says single of Alexandra, so I just underline it because that's what I'm going to be getting.
I know your work at the Coalition will allow future generations to be able to fish and swim in the Blackstone River.